Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your Farming Simulator 15 map spotlight. This time we are on the big Polish map, and I will disclose immediately that this is the second time I'm recording this. Normally it's because of lag or something, but this time it's because the last video was just too negative and I felt bad about it. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad and the ugly about this map. And there is some ugly. The good is that it loads, and it is a pretty good looking map. There's some nice detail, a lot of bizarre things that I didn't think were possible are done. Don't think that should be outside of the thing, the feeding trough. So let's start off by saying this is your cow zone, I believe, possibly pigs. I wish I could zoom in on the map, I really do. This is a pig zone as well, and I honestly don't know how some of these things work. I think the pig zone might work. There is a water mod on the map. It has alt tip. It has a load of 2013 scripts that do actually work, and I'd really like to know how the mod maker did, or how the map maker did it, because that's showing some real skill. That really does show some real skill. Here is your... Right, stop bumping into that, which has collisions. Here's where you tip all of your goods for storage. You have to pull them out the same way. There is no grill or no anything. Oh, in fact, no, you do have to pull them out separately. It is, of course, a 2013 spec map. What I would assume it was quickly converted to 2015. All the trees are 2013 spec trees. These are 2013 spec silos, and I don't know if they work. I may test them later, or I probably won't test them, in fact. Here's the sugar beet and potato storage. There is no wood chip storage. There is no support for forestry whatsoever in this map, so if that's your thing, I'm sorry, but this is not the map for you, and it's not a map for most people, I would say. So there is, and I'll come back to that point later on. The sheep are in there, and here's something nice. They have the map makers included storage for grass, straw, silage, and mixed rations over here. So if you want to store that up and make it as you wish, you can do that. It has an older version of map door trigger, so you can just drive through all the doors when they're closed. The newer version doesn't have that. All the doors, well, the doors can be made without collisions and map door trigger, but I kind of prefer when they have collisions. A major criticism I have of the map straight away is the amount of noise. I know it's done for ambience and stuff like that, but when you're hearing constant noises like this, it does start to grate on you. It's good to a point. I mean, it's nice that there's ambience, but when it's a 5-second file that plays on loop, it does grate on you. Now I'm gonna go up and show you guys the sell points. Of course the signs don't get knocked over, as that test just showed. So we're gonna head up and have a look at the watermill. This yellow monstrosity over here is wheat. I don't like the texture at all, and there are problems with a lot of the textures on the map that I'll get to later on. So this is the watermill. You have to either use a side tipper or be very good at backing up if you want to be realistic about it to get stuff in here. Again, noises that really I think the map could go without. Or they could be I'm not saying the map could go without, but they could be toned down. You see over there there's a maize field, and I'm going to use the time fast forward mod in a little while to show you what the maze looks like when it's fully grown. I do have the time fast forward mod in, and I'm going to go up and show you. Oh. It's 11 o'clock in the morning and my alarm just went off to tell me I should be awake. I will come back to the starter vehicles later on as well. So, there is no reset point on the map. Oh, I'm gonna have to buy a second pickup now. Bear with me. I kind of thought the map would have a reset point. That's another criticism I have of it, is it kind of strikes me as being incomplete, and I'm going to choose a different color because this is pickup number 2, and the backup will be orange from now on, apparently. So, I'm going to head back up to the sell points, and if I can find a way out. Over here will do. I'm going to head back up and have a look at the sell points and drive through things. I'm going to head up to the mill, which is marked on the map 3 times for some reason. And we're going to have a look up there, and there are some more issues up there. There are some issues in the log, and I have what I've decided to call Logovision set up to show you guys in a little while. I have the log open at the moment, and I'll be doing my seamless transition into that, courtesy of OBS. The map is good, generally. There are textures that could be better. There's the original pickup stuck on a fence that it'll never be taken off because this map is not going to be kept. The map is good. The sounds could be better if they were reduced in volume, I think. I think the volume of the sound's too high. That's actually easily fixed by an XML edit, but I kind of think that should be something the map maker should do. I mean, if you're going to make a map, you should really do a lot of quality testing and get a number of testers. From what I can see, this map was tested by just the one person, which I wouldn't advise. I kind of advise, if you're going to be testing a map, get at least 2 or 3 people to test it, and definitely play it yourself and push it yourself. So here's some more noises. That dog, I think, is the right volume. This, however, is not. This is just an annoying discotheque of annoyance, which I think is a moving fill plane underneath, or it has a fill plane. I mean, you can see it, so I would presume that moves up. This is just a bunch of overlapping textures that don't really work. The noise is quite honestly unbearable. So if you're selling things here, you want to make it quick, I suppose. And I mean, most of the map works, including this. Wow, this old style 2013 spec way station actually works. I didn't spot that. So, I suppose I should show you guys the starter vehicles. And here's where we run into more problems. Because the starter vehicles are the same as Bjornholms. I'll say that straight out. They're the Bjornholm starters, which of course are the same as the starter vehicles in Westbridge Hills, but they're quite clearly taken from Bjornholm. And I say that because of their positioning. So, oh, that is on a loop. That is really annoying. So, here's your sampler, starting in the middle of a field, almost a complete random, but this is where it will be in Bjornholm. And you can see there's a Harleyman over here, stuck in the middle of the same field, slightly farther away. In the middle of your farmyard there is an aggro star. I forgot to mention there's a green Brantner, of course. There's an aggro star with the cockerling and the 700 kilo weight. Oh, 1000 kilo weight, I apologise. In the middle of a different field there is another aggro star with a 700 kilo weight and the Vitus M302. And here's where the problem is. Because this Hurleyman is off in the middle of nowhere. Which would be fine, except for one thing, and I'm going to show you that one thing. Now, with no reset map points on the map, setting something outside the boundaries or getting it stuck somewhere where it's impossible to move is a bit of a problem. That basically means you have to sell it. This Hurleyman is outside the boundaries of the map. Now, again, it's a problem that can be fixed with an XML edit. The Career Start Vehicles XML, to be precise. But it's a problem that shouldn't happen. It's something that should have been picked up in testing that wasn't. And I think the map maker just kind of said, well, I'll just change some numbers to make it 2015 spec without really bothering to test it. I mean, from this side a lot of these are they floating? They're not floating on this side, but they do look to be. Yeah, from this side a lot of the hedges and things and scenery are floating for some reason, but I suppose that's excusable because it's outside the map. Unfortunately there's a tractor there that you have to sell straight away. So I did say that I would show you guys the maze texture. And what is that over there beside the maze? I am up there, and it is potatoes. Okay, so we'll have a look at the maze and potato textures. So let's just speed up time to get the maze fully grown. And there we go. This is the maze texture and it's fully grown. It is really nice, but as you'll see in a moment there are some issues. And over here this is not fully grown. Oh, it is. This is a potato texture. It is again quite nice. I like all the ground textures that the map makers used. I think they're quite fitting for the map. I think they're quite nice. I don't particularly agree with this dirty water texture, but I've seen it in a few maps in 2013. I've withered everything because I fast forward to time. That doesn't matter. And there's one thing that really bugs me, and it's this. If you scroll the mouse, let's say if you somehow manage to get forestry implemented, you go flying up in the sky because player camera mod is in. So we'll just fly off up. Can I zoom out? Whoa! So there's the map from quite a great distance. Here's the map. And it is quite nice from above, way above the map. You can see it is well designed. I mean, the fields are all irregular shapes and sizes, so that's a nice bit of a challenge, but part of the challenge shouldn't be getting the map to run. I think I've broken it slightly. I think I broke the map by zooming out that far. So, oops. I'm just gonna stay floating up here because it is time to go to Logovision, and this is where the video last time kind of fell apart, so I'm gonna try and be more positive. The video fell apart last time because I was overly negative because I was overly tired, and today I'm just after sleeping, so it shouldn't be much of an issue. We'll go into Logovision right here. As you can see, I've got my lovely little overlay up for Logovision, and you can see it's chock full of errors with outdated shaders, resources that can't be loaded, terrain detail problems, and it's if you look here, these two are the issue. I've selected 3. The wheat barley diffuse and maize diffuse are raw textures. That could cause a lot of problems. That can cause lag and crashes. That is a major performance issue that should have been picked up by the map maker. And there's a load of terrain distance textures that have incorrect formats. The problem exactly is that they're not in 8-bit RGB. There's a whole bunch of 3D stereo sound files, a whole bunch of them. That's this entire block of errors here. That is some sort of error with a particle system that might have been caused by me. I'm not sure. And then it's just loading up all these triggers for various water mod things. Now what really interests me is that they managed to get 2013 scripts running in 2015. And oh yes, there's one further problem. If you download the map from the mod hoster link, you have to pretty much save it somewhere else and export the. You'll have to unzip the file, open the folder that's within the zip file, and copy all of the the files from that back into the zip file, or into a different zip file, because the map maker didn't zip it up correctly. And normally with a map you have a zip file, and inside it are the files to run the map. Where in this case there's the zip file, which contains a folder which contains all the stuff to run the map. And if you try and run that with Farming Simulator, the map will never open. So that's kind of a bit of a tutorial as well. If you're making maps, or interested in making maps, or thinking about making a map, or a mod even, that's something you need to consider, is how do you zip up the file. You need to make sure that the zip file directly only contains the files and folders that you need to run the map. And if you don't know what that should look like, you should just pick out any random map from any map maker that you know works on in the game, and just have a look at the format and the layout of what the zip file is, what's inside the zip file. Unzip it with 7-zip or WinZip or whatever unzipping program you have. Have a look at that. Make sure that you're reducing the workload of the player when it comes to installing the map, that all they have to do is copy it into the mods folder and they're done. They can run the map straight away. I don't like map makers who kind of, in a way, don't test fully, don't test properly. And I think this is a map maker who, they clearly know what they're doing, but they cut corners. They cut corners in just changing some numbers in some XML files to get it running in 2015, and didn't check how well it runs in Farming Simulator 15. And while I can accept that they wanted to get their map running in 2015, that's fine for their own testing, to improve the map and to iterate on the map and to get a better map for the new game. Just straight up converting the map and saying, hey, here's your map back for 2015. I don't think that's good enough. I've seen people on Facebook and in various groups that I'm in converting Spring Hill Farm to 2015. That's not something that I like. I think that the original map maker should... I think that converting maps is fine. for your own sake, if you want to, we'll say, learn how to make maps or something, or do something like that. But if you're going to be releasing the maps publicly, you have to make them work fully, and you have to make sure that the amount of stuff that you can do in the map is fitting. In this case, it's just cows, sheep, and arable, which is fine. Well, there's chickens as well. But the trees are 2013 spec, and they all have collisions. Everything in the map has collisions except for the doors and gates. So you can be running into trees the whole time, and there's nothing you can do about it short of editing the map yourself. And if you do that, you might as well start trying to tackle some of the errors. That's a map maker just cutting corners and, quite frankly, being lazy, and that's it's something that I don't like to see, but I can understand why it's done. It's somebody who just wanted to get their map out quickly, and I hope the map maker comes back and has, or is right now, right this minute, well, maybe not right this minute, but is looking at fully updating and rebuilding the map for 2015 spec. Because it is a good map. It could be a brilliant map. But there are so many problems with it right now that I really wouldn't advise getting it, because, I mean, you've got a tractor that you can't use, you've got raw textures, you've got errors up the wazoo, that the log file is silly. But it's not as bad as the Czech map. So, I mean, if you want an Eastern European style map, here you go. Here's probably your best bet so far. There is another one that is pretty much, it's pretty much just Bjornholm renamed. I think there have been some edits, but I opened the map and saw it was essentially Bjornholm and said, well, in fact, it was so Bjornholmy that the game decided to run the would you like a short tutorial, and the short tutorial thing. So I think they just straight up copied Bjornholm. Not going to name that map, however. It's gone from my mod folder now. So yeah, this has been your map, this has been your Farming Simulator 15 map spotlight on the big Polish farm, which really needs some polish. Quite a lot of polish. A couple of boxes should do. I have been Rainbow Dave. Please give me your thoughts on this video and the format I'm using. Because I've seen map spotlights and they don't really go into log files if there's problems. They just kind of mention there are issues. I want to be a bit more detailed in what the issues actually are, basically. And I hope you appreciate that. You know, I'm looking up and finding the bigger issues that aren't just, well, hey, I don't like this map. Because I've said, you know, there are a lot of maps that I don't like, but I mean, if they're sound in the log file, I'll tell you that the log file is completely clean and there's no real issues there. But if like this map, there's a whole bunch of problems in the log file, I'm going to tell you and I'm going to let you know that, hey, there are issues that, regardless of how much you like the map, they could cause you problems. And it's really the log file that matters. To me. If the log file is clean, if there's no problems, and as time goes on, my mod folder will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and log files will take a lot longer to create and look at. And I'm only going to show you the important things. Yeah, I'm going to keep doing the log files because I think they are important to kind of a review of the map. And this one has a lot of promise, but it does need a lot of polish. So I'm going to start the whole ending spiel again because I went off on a little rant. And this is a lot more positive than the original video, trust me. So, I have been Rainbow Dave. This has been your Farming Simulator 15 map spotlight on the big Polish map. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Take care, folks.